everybody, welcome back to my workshop and welcome back to my garage. Today we're rolling into video number 3 of my great guitar build off. What we're going to be working on is we're going to start by grain filling the body. I'm going to mask off the top just so I don't get anything on the maple. We're going to grain fill the body with some water-based grain filler. I'm going to clean it off, sand it off. I want a nice smooth finish on this. Then we'll be experimenting with some dyes on the top. I've got some of the offcut still from the body. We're going to be experimenting with the dyes. We're going to go with the green and black burst. I got the idea for this by watching Big D's Guitars. So if you haven't seen his channel, please check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. He does some awesome work with dyes on his tops. So great videos to watch. So I'm going to be going with the green and black burst on that with a matching burst on the headstock. All right, here I'm just using water-based grain filler. Clear grain filler from StuMac, and what I'm doing is that you use a brush and you just brush it on against the grain, and I'm kind of working it into the grain a little bit, and I'm brushing it across the grain, and then what you do is you'll squeeze off the excess after a bit and then go back and sand, and you may have to apply a couple coats of this. It may not all grain fill on the first coat, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that opportunity to just make sure I've got a good sand on it and make sure I don't have any scratches anywhere in the guitar, because once I start applying the finish, that's when that stuff's going to show up. And then here in the neck heel, I'm making sure I get a good amount in this neck heel area, because a lot of that is cross grain, so it will fill harder than it'll take more to fill it than what it'll do. Alright, we've got the first bit of grain filler installed. Now it's time to sand it back. We're just going to do a rough or light sand back with 320 grit. Level sand, I'll block sand it on the back and of course on the sides and stuff to keep my bevels and everything right. But now we're just going to go through, sand this, and then we're going to put one more coat on it, and then we'll call that good. Because with the oil finish, the oil is going to soak into the pores a little bit too and do some filling there. Okay, the next thing I need to do is I need to drill a hole for the wire to ground on the bridge. So what I'm going to do is, because of the distance that I would have to drill here, it's quite a distance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down and then drill into my pickup cavity. That way I can route the wire in through with that. And there we go. Came out right at the bottom, which is perfect. That way I just route it right into the bottom and then right out the back. All right, so we are ready to starting to look at do the finish on this soon. For the body, as you can see, I've got it all nice and sanded. I've got just drilled the hole for my ground wire for my bridge. Still need to enlarge the holes in the top for my control pots, but I'm going to take care of that probably a little bit later. I know the bridge is lined up straight. I've got all my sanding done. Grain filled it. I went through two coats of grain filler, and it actually looks really good when I put the naphtha on it to clean it. You could see where the grain filler still needed a little bit of work. I went through and did that. So we've got 2 good coats of grain filler on there, so that should be good. Nice and smooth. You can feel around all the contours, and everything feels nice and smooth. It looks smooth, but you can always tell. I found a lot of things as I was going through it, just kind of feeling it, and you kind of feel that little dip or that little bump. That's all sanded out. The headstock is all nice and profiled and sanded, smooth. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start thinking about doing a dye. We're going to start experimenting with some colors. I know it's going to be green with the black burst. I just haven't decided on what I'm going to do with the back yet. I think I'm going to leave it natural. I know the neck is going to get an oil finish. That's a definite for the neck. I don't know what finish I'm going to use on the body at the moment. I may go with a poly. I may go with nitro lacquer to see how that goes, and I may do oil on the body as well. Just have to wait and see. But the top is definitely going to get stained green with the black burst, and we're just going to experiment with some stains and see what we get. Alright, sorry about that. My camera died. But I've done some test pieces, and what I'm going to do is I've kind of got this from Big D's Guitars. He's really good with this staining stuff, and he's got some really nice videos. So what I'm doing is I'm going to copy one of his that he did. I'm doing a nice green, and then I'm going to I'm actually going to put a little bit of gold in it as well, because I did a test piece with some gold, and it came out really super nice. So I'm going to see how that looks, and if it doesn't look right what I want it to, I'll sand it back and go again. So I'm using the Angelus leather dies like what Big D uses on his. So I figured, you know, he gets a good product from it, so I'm not gonna change. And you can see it's starting to really bring out that grain pattern on the wood. Really starting to show, and that's going to be even better once I get the black on there. And then now I'm going to put some gold on there. And of course, all of this is going to be sanded back as well. But I really like the way that gold fits in with that green. It really makes it pop out. Now to hit this with some black. And the black I'm going to just brush along the edges. And now I'm just going to come back in with the green. Oh, I got to do that. And blend that black in. Pull that back up. There we go. Probably want a little too much black up here, but that's okay. I'll sand that back and get it out. Okay, so everything's sanded back. I'm going to go on with some green first. Now to feather in some black. Now we'll go back in with the green to pull that black around. Kind of bring that black out to it. Alright, so what I'm getting ready to do now is I'm getting ready to start working on the pickup bobbins. And what I've done is I've taken two pieces of zebra wood, glued those together, and that's going to be my core for each bobbin. I've used some super glue and tape just to tape the bobbins onto the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill my holes for all the bobbins, and then I'll cut it and then use my belt sander to sand down the inside of this, that way I can glue the caps on. There you can see, that's all the holes drilled for this one. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess off. That way I don't have as much to sand when I go to the belt sander for the bobbin. Also, I've got my grain marked, or I got it marked on the top where I'm going to make my cuts for these, and these will be the top and the bottom of the bobbins. Alright, all the initial shaping is done, so we've got our bobbins. Still need to do a little bit of work on them. On the leveling beam, just take them right down to the line and then smooth them up a little bit, and then they'll be ready to go on the winder. But these are going to be the bobbins for the guitar. Should look nice once I get some tung oil on them and really make that grain pop out on that zebra wood. All right, this brings us to the end of the video number 3 for my great guitar build-off. What we made progress on, got the guitar body stained, or the dye put on, green and black with a little bit of gold mixed in there, matching headstock. Still need to do a little bit of edge work where the dye ran through a little bit underneath the tape. So just got a little bit of work to do to crisp up the edges on that. Also, that's gonna dry, and I'm gonna hit it with some steel wool after it dries for 24 hours, and then I'll hit it with some sanding sealer. That way, when I do the oil finish, it keeps the dye from kind of reactivating and running, and that way it'll keep the color that I have there. I also have my bobbins complete. The wood bobbins for the humbuckers, made of zebra wood. So I think that's going to look pretty good on there. I've just got a couple minor things to do to touch up on the bobbins, but other than that, they're going to be ready to do the final assembly and winding the pickups and do the final assembly with the base plates and get that done. So what we have left to do, of course, we've got the fretwork to do, we got the final finish and everything to do on the guitar. I'll be starting that this week. Hopefully by about Thursday, I'll be starting on the body and getting the oil finish on there. It's been completely grain filled, so it's ready to go. It'll be nice and smooth when it's done. The pickups, like I said, I've got a little bit of sanding to do still to get the shape exactly the way I want them to be for each bobbin, to make sure the bobbins match and look proper and look symmetrical with one another when they're in the guitar. This has been a great competition, the Great Guitar Build-Off. There's a lot of different guitars being made. If you take a look on YouTube and just do a search for Great Guitar Build-Off, there's some amazing things being done. A lot of good videos out there, a lot of good pointers to show you how to do and what to do, and it's not that bad doing your own guitar. It's actually just a nice relaxing, take it slow, don't go too fast. If you like what you've seen so far, please click like and subscribe. Leave any comments below what you think of the progress so far of the guitar. And until next time, take care and have a great day.